Who are some badasses in history that school didn't teach you about? Leo Major, Canadian hero who liberated an entire Dutch city in WW2 single-handedly. Honestly, Canadians seem all polite, but as soon you in war with them, you dead. King Sejong of ancient Korea was so tired of the Chinese-style writing. So he said, "Fuck this shit," and devised an entirely new form of writing that led to the modern Korean Hangul. Not the badass you all were probably thinking of, but the man was a genius for this. Lapu-Lapu. History books often cite Magellan's death with a passing sentence like "died in Southeast Asia while circumnavigating the world," but Filipinos know he was killed in the Philippines by Lapu-Lapu. In the Battle of Mactan, when Magellan landed in the Philippines, he made a deal with a neighboring king, Humabon, that if Magellan took care of a rival chief on the other side of the island, Humabon would swear fealty to the King of Spain. Magellan had no idea he was being used. Magellan initially offered not to attack Lapu-Lapu if he bowed to both Humabon and the King of Spain. Lapu-Lapu refused, and Magellan marched over with his heavily armed and armored men and was thoroughly thrashed by hundreds of Filipino warriors with swords. Lapu-Lapu is now a national symbol against Western colonization, but I don't think anyone in the US is keen to put him in a textbook. Really, the only mention of the US in the Philippines I got was boiled down to "saved y'all from the Spanish." John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill also went by Jack Churchill, Fighting Jack Churchill, and Mad Jack. This wondrous British officer carried around a longbow and arrow and a Scottish longsword during WW2. To top that all off, he also had some bagpipes. Edit. Spelling. Last confirmed wartime kill with a longbow in history. I think he was the one who complained that the war ended too early. He is also the same guy who said that if you went into battle without a sword you were not properly dressed. Great man lol. I watched a video about how Monsieur Madlad went to a German trench with only a sword and all 80 men surrendered, probably thinking he was either a god or they couldn't shoot a guy with those balls of steel. Gotta go with the Berserker of Stamford Bridge, a giant Norse axeman who apparently slaughtered about 40 English soldiers and held up their entire army himself, and was only killed when one soldier snuck under the bridge and impaled him, presumably in the groin. Simo Heha. Qing Shi. She was a Chinese pirate who led a massive fleet of somewhere between 20,000 to 40,000 men, and ruled over the South China Sea and had influence in all of China's territorial waters. Her fleet stood toe-to-toe with the likes of the British Empire, the Portuguese Empire, and the Qing dynasty. William Billy Lee. He was George Washington's attendant slave, and as such, he accompanied Washington just about everywhere. As a result, he not only became an accomplished horseman, due to Washington being a top-level rider himself, but he was also in the midst of the fighting throughout the entire Revolutionary War, likely making him one of the first African Americans to be part of that cause. In general, non-whites weren't allowed to participate directly until a ways into the war. IRC. He was also the only slave of Washington's who was freed immediately when Washington died, and he was given the option of living at Mount Vernon for the rest of his life, which he did. Unfortunately, pretty much everything we know about Billy comes from sources written only by other people who knew him, as he doesn't seem to have left behind any autobiographical data. The saddest part is, despite his valiance as well as being an attendant to someone as iconic as George Washington, him having been enslaved for most of his life is cited as having contributed to the somewhat scarce mention of him in primary sources. I never learned about him in school and didn't hear about Billy at all until I was about 29 or 30 in the past year or two, and it's especially disheartening that no writings from his point of view are known to exist. Edit. changed a phrase to be more fitting following another Redditor's suggestion. That Chinese hooker who basically ruled the 7 seas, Yar. Odd A. Murphy, a short man from Texas, a man of the wild, thrown into combat where bodies lie piled, hides his emotions, his blood's running cold. Here it is. Leroy Jenkins. While the American Civil War was going on, China was dealing with its own against Jesus's younger brother Hong Xiuquan. Guy has a crazy story, and the conflict that he was part of was one of the bloodiest in history. Teddy Roosevelt grew up with really horrible asthma. Just like me. He's one of my heroes. John Paul Jones. I feel like most people would recognize this name from oversimplified videos. But if you don't, he fought in the American Revolution and raided a bunch of cities. He was an absolute legend and helped the Americans a lot. Check out the vid for more details. It was the American Revolution Part 2. He was fighting a naval battle, and the British commander had damaged his ship to the point that it was sinking. He asked John Paul Jones if he wanted to surrender, and JP's response was, "Why would I? I have not yet begun to fight." Quote. He then proceeded to capture the less damaged British ship, move all his crew over before his own ship sank, and sailed back home with the British captain and crew as prisoners. Dude was an absolute Chad. IKR. Heard he was pretty good at base too. The White Death. Finnish sniper who kicked Russia's ass. Queen Boudica. The African-American women who helped get the US into space. They did the math better than the IBM. But I was never taught anything about it. They were called computers, if I'm not mistaken. Edit, the women, I mean. John Paul Jones. My friend who was in another school before he came to mine told me about Hi Monsieur, you're fucking awesome. Great bassist, great band. Salahuddin. Crazy Horse. The entire Heroes album by Sabaton covers it. Bass Reeves. Julie Daubigny. Matilda Gage. She was a hardcore feminist who also fought for Native American rights and was an abolitionist. She fought hard to get rights for everyone and was also really smart in fields like science, and the Matilda effect is named after her, which is the tendency to not give women credit for scientific invention. Muhammad Ali. He was a great fighter in the ring and had even tougher fights out the ring. Yasuki also served as the inspiration for Afro Samurai. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, one of the greatest snipers of all time. Artemisia Gentileschi. D.B. Cooper. My great-grandpa, Dewey Beard, or Wasumaza. Even though he was running away, he escaped the Wounded Knee massacre with his wife and child while almost everyone else was shot by the white motherfuckers. Fred Hampton. This Catholic saint, Saint Denis. He was decapitated, but he just picked up his head and walked away. Kapitan Witold Pilecki. A Polish cavalry officer who undertook an insane mission to get himself arrested by the Germans and sent to the Nazi concentration camp at Auschwitz. He escaped to tell the world of the horrors, but no one really paid him much attention. This is just the gist of it, but the guy had some other amazing achievements. Inmate in hell or a hero in prison? Soldier in Auschwitz, we know his name. Chhatrapati Shivaji Rani Lakshmi Bai, the Queen of Jhansi. Ahmose I. The Hyksos had conquered Lower Egypt and retained it for several generations. Ahmose's father, Sekunanra Dao, of the Theban nobility, desired to reunify Egypt. Dao led an army to meet the Hyksos, personally entered the battle and was killed in the fray. Ahmose's brother died shortly after, and his burial indicates he, too, may have been a warrior pharaoh. Ahmose was a child watching this unfold. He waited years, trained and schooled, preparing for his time. When he came of age, he, too, was a warrior pharaoh, and he led a scorched earth campaign against Hyksos strongholds in Lower Egypt. He drove the Hyksos out entirely and established the 18th dynasty. Marcus Cassius Siva. He was a Roman centurion unlike any other. Had a shield covered in arrows. Ripped an arrow out of his eye. Got shot with 2 more. And still held the line. soldier in World War I got thrown into an enemy shelter from a bomb explosion. Took over the shelter from the inside. Do you know his name or a story title I can search? It might have been with World War II. I haven't found anything yet, but it was a story someone told me, so I'm not sure of the credibility. It was from a history teacher though. Perpetua was a person who died in the Colosseum but kicked her diary before she was killed, so it was preserved. Saint Perpetua and Saint Felicity, Catullune. I had to scroll way too far for this. Total badass. Frantic Amber did a song about her. The song is pretty badass too. Bathe in the moonlight of purest excellence. Behold as she takes flight across the fields of battle. You can try to fight the moonlight. You'll lose your horses and pride. Muslim leaders such as Salahuddin, John Paul Jones. He was an absolute badass. And a great bass player. I seen an article not too long ago about an American soldier infiltrated a German concentration camp and saved thousands of Jews. He almost got away with no witnesses, but a German officer found him and aimed a Luger at the back of his head. The American soldier then spit out a badass one-liner along the lines of, "Kill me and you'll have to kill the rest of these people." The German instantly dropped the Luger and just left the scene. Hercules Mulligan, Sons of Liberty spy who made uniforms for British officers during their occupation of New York in the Revolution. The officers openly talked about British plans and strategies, and Mulligan got that info to Washington twice. He saved Washington's life. This is just a Sabaton fan hot zone. Two that I haven't seen mentioned here are Larry Thorne or Laurie Torney, a guy who fought in 3 different armies from World War II through to Vietnam, and the soldiers that fought in the Battle of Wisna, one of many battles dubbed Polish Thermopylae. In this instance, because the Polish were outnumbered against the Germans roughly 40-1. Vasily Zaitsev. He was a WW2 Russian sniper with deadly accuracy. Between the 10th of November 1942 and the 17th of December 1942, during the Battle of Stalingrad, he killed 225 enemy soldiers, including 11 snipers. Many of his tactics are used by snipers today. Thomas Cochrane. Everybody's heard of John Paul Jones, mostly thanks to his role in the American Revolution. But Cochrane has him beat in pretty much every category. He was born into a Scottish noble family with a long military history. He joined the Royal Navy just in time for the French Revolutionary Wars, and soon enough commanded his own tiny little ship, and proceeded to kick ass and take ships like nobody's business. He kept a whole chest of different flags for deception, and designed pulley systems to make his ship look fully manned even when it only had a few people on it. He held off a 6,000-man French army with just 80 men, then blew it up after finally evacuating. After hearing of his exploits, Napoleon dubbed him the Sea Wolf, a nickname that would follow him for the rest of his life. He pretty much single-handedly won the Battle of the Basque Roads, and would almost certainly have crushed the French fleet had his superior not messed up. He made a big fuss about corruption and incompetence in the Royal Navy, which predictably didn't do wonders for his careers. He then went into politics, got into Parliament, and ran with the radical reform group of the time. When his friend got in trouble for insulting the House and was about to be arrested, Cochrane threatened to blow up the House if the charges weren't dropped, and had to be talked down by his friend. When recruiters from Chile, which was in the process of fighting for its independence from Spain, asked him to become the first admiral of the Chilean Navy, he not only accepted, but also tried to convince his new friends to bust out Napoleon from St. Helena on the way. When he arrived in Chile, he immediately did what he did best and then some. Completely of his own volition, he decided to take the last Spanish stronghold in southern Chile, a network of 10 forts that was thought by many to be impossible to take without a prolonged siege. Cochrane took all 10 forts in about a day. He once saw the Spanish flagship docked in one of their ports. So he sailed right up to it, boarded it, got shot on the shoulder during the fighting, then sailed both his ship and the Spanish ship out before anyone could do anything about it. He then went on to fight for the Brazilian Empire and the Greek Revolution. For the sake of brevity, this guy just keeps kicking ass over and over again like it's nobody's business. He then returned to Britain, rejoined the Navy, and got promoted to Admiral, though he never again commanded ships personally, as many feared he would lose a whole fleet in some daring attack. He died on Halloween of 1860, having thoroughly earned his moniker of the Sea Wolf. Suck on that, John Paul Jones. Need paragraphs, dude, but especially with all the JPJ comments, this stands out and needs reading. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.